Not sure if I'm now recording. I'm going to start again. So 2 classes did the quiz about decomposition this morning, and I'm going to take a look which questions have been done well. You can see on my screen the first class. They did actually most questions really well. They are all green and some are yellow. Let's take a look for the other class. Not my intention to show names. In this class, seems like a bit more orange, not sure. And one red. I'm going to sort by accuracy. So let's start with question 19. Which reads, in an electrolysis cell, what does the electrolyte do? This was a question you could have known by studying the book. Perhaps it wasn't said that clearly in the presentation. If you go to the book, and in the meantime, I'm going to grab my book. You go to unit 6.1. There you see in figure 6.1.1 the key parts of the electrolysis cell. And there you see the electrolyte is basically the fluid, the liquid in the beaker, and that will transfer the electrons in the fluid. That's the answer. The supply of electrical energy happens in the direct current, the power supply. The supply of the electrons, basically happens through the current, the power supply. The attraction. Supply would be then the negative electrode, the cathode, and the attraction of the electrons is in the anode, in the positive electrode, and then the transfer happens through the electrolyte. Let's take a look. Here is question 15, which most people have incorrect here in any case. So this one was mentioned in the presentation. Say one could decompose ammonia in the same way one can decompose water. Which element will appear at the positive electrode and why? So then one would have to take a look. Nitrogen, if that becomes an ion, becomes negative. It's also a non-metal, so it's on the right-hand side of the periodic table. And hydrogen, and that you could know from also the presentation about decomposition, hydrogen will remain positive. It's H plus, we all know that. So H plus is attracted by the negative side, and nitrogen is attracted by the positive side. So am I saying that's correct? Yes, positive side. So the first answer here. I see that 9 seconds is taken as an average time. That's real quick. Guys, read the questions properly and think carefully. The next one, more people had it correct than incorrect, but I'll still discuss it. This is we didn't really practice this, so it's an understanding question. But if zinc oxide and carbon dioxide are produced, write that out on a piece of paper. So you get on the right Zn and O, and on the and C and CO2. So what there has to be on the left? There has to be Zn. Now that are in all the options you see. There has to be oxygen, which in carbonate there is C and O. In zinc oxide, zinc dioxide, there is no carbon, so that falls away as option. And the last option is also hydrogen, but that doesn't appear on the right. So basically, you need to remember that everything that starts on the left will appear on the right. So whatever is on the right has to be on the left of your arrow. So the only option is zinc carbonate, and it doesn't even matter if you know what these. No, it does matter that you know what the compounds look like, but not even the correct numbers. You do need to know which elements appear. The one above here, now 15 people had it correct, 9 incorrect. Which of the following processes is not based on a decomposition reaction? And that will be burning wood, which is a combustion reaction, which we will learn about still. Fading colors, making caramel, producing aluminium. These were actually the 3 examples I gave in the presentation. Moving up, more and more people have it correct and less have it incorrect. 15, so I'm at my 2/3 correct and 1/3 incorrect. I'll do this one as last one. Consider evaporation and decomposition. Which process is a physical and which is a chemical process? So this one was shown in the presentation. Evaporation, the molecules stay the same. Decomposition, the molecules break up. So evaporation is physical and decomposition is chemical. Next question. Ammonia decomposes into its component elements. The following products are formed. Here you need to obey the Claudia rule. So hydrogen and nitrogen both are part of that rule. So it's option number 2. Yeah, last one I'm not going to discuss. I see you took a long time to answer it, and this one is straight from the book. Yeah, no, not even straight from the book. It's straight from the presentation. Hofmann voltameter allows you to perform a chemical reaction. You need to know it's a decomposition reaction, and decomposition reactions, energy is added, so it's endotherm. So option B. And we know 3 kinds of decomposition. I'm very surprised this one is done so badly. I was just sort of playing around with you, I thought, because to remember light, heat, electricity seemed, and chemical energy, yeah, it's not synthesis is not a decomposition. It's actually you're making something. What do you observe when you perform the identification reaction of oxygen gas? Now, you all saw this when you when we did the demo in class. You see a glowing splint relight. And the one above, identification reaction for hydrogen gas, is the high-pitched plopping sound. If you're wondering how could you have known, even not being in class, the presentation had some links to some videos showing these reactions. Okay, so this was for the second class. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to just show the other one, just check if there are some other questions, sort again by accuracy. And I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. In an electrolysis cell, I pronounce that always wrongly. Cell, what do the electrodes do? Yeah, I've already sort of discussed this question. And I see, it took a long time, average long time, so that means people were looking it up, which is fine, because you also learn from that. The electrodes, so let's go through the options. Carry the electric current to and from the electrolyte. That's possible. They supply the electric current from the grid. That's your power supply. Conduct electricity when molten. That's your electrolyte. And break down during electrolysis. Those are your reagents. So the option is, the first one is the correct one. Then this one, question 10, was already discussed. 8 was already discussed. 19 was already discussed, and 15 also, and so it was 18. Oh, here, one more. Write out the balanced reaction equation from the decomposition of ammonia, NH3, into its component elements. So those were discussed here in question 10. And then what volume ratio do you expect you will form from it's a pity I can't really type here, or I could, but it will take too long, so I'm not going to do that. Write out the balanced reaction equation with the correct products, and you'll see that the coefficients that are formed, so the big numbers, they are actually your the answer here. So if you have questions about this, email me. I could make a separate video about that. And this one I've discussed. 16 correct. Oh, we're still on 3/3. Why does thermal decomposition need heat energy? Yeah, to break bonds. This is perhaps not been discussed very explicitly. It might have been in the question in unit 6. No, I'm sorry for this one. This one probably needed my presence to explain. This one has been discussed, and then we go to the green one, so I'll leave it at this. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording for now and record the feedback on the other quiz.